Okay, welcome to Average Fitness Basics number 2. Now, we discussed where to work out in Basics 1, what you look for in a gym, and all the particulars therein. Here I would like to talk about how to get started. Now, depending on your goals, what your goals are, and it will depend on how you get started. Now I'm going to assume that you want to get into basic bodybuilding. Now let me I said I brought up bodybuilding in the last video, and I want to bring this up right now because bodybuilding is kind of a loaded term. When you say bodybuilding, or when one says bodybuilding, one thinks of the guys that are competing on a professional national circuit, the super huge steroid taking large massive bodybuilders. And while that is bodybuilding at its apex, at its highest degree within that particular sport, it doesn't necessarily mean that bodybuilding is only for them. In fact, anything that you do that causes muscular hypertrophy or gain in skeletal muscle tissue, that's building your body. That's bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is integral for almost every single sport that you can think of. No matter what the sport is, it's typically almost always better to have more muscle than less, though you want to make sure that it's efficient muscle. It's muscle that you're going to use. Now, if you want to get into bodybuilding as a sport, that's a whole other video. If you want to get into bodybuilding as in just for us average folks that want to look a little better and want to feel a little bit better and use that muscle for functioning purposes, then this is the one you want to listen to. For starters, the bodybuilding principles that the professionals use that are on contest stages are the same principles that you use regardless of whether or not you're using it for sport application or for everyday life. It doesn't matter whether you're going to be involved in a sport or you're just trying to lift a bag of groceries. The act of bodybuilding and strengthening your body overall is going to support every single function in your entire existence. So where I turn is where I'm going to suggest that you turn to first. First thing that you should do is educate yourself. That's why, as you can see, my well-worn Arnold Schwarzenegger Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding. When I bought this, it was $25. I don't know how much this would cost now. All the images are all images of people that are currently involved in professional bodybuilding. Let me show you here. Now, when you're looking at this book, when you're reading through this book, understand that all of the principles therein are principles that you need to use. Now, a lot of guys will come up to me and they'll say, I want to work out and I want to get bigger, but I don't want to look like this guy. And I tell them, you can't. You can't. You can't look like him unless you work out like him, unless you take steroids and eat 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day. You won't look like these guys, so you don't have to worry about looking like them. But these are extreme examples of the principles that you're going to be using in your iron lifting regimen. All of the principles in this book are sound. All of them will work as long as you apply it with discipline. Now, this book has advice for people like you and me who are just wanting to lift and get stronger. And if you ever do decide to get involved in bodybuilding as a sport, it's got advice for that as well. in the back, the book is separated into several segments. As you can see, it's huge, and the paper's kind of fallen out where I read it a lot. But it's separated in and of itself into several books. One, the history of bodybuilding, its uses, general purposes. It enumerates the various materials that you might need in order to start the sport, and it also has an area in the back for diet and nutrition. The diet and nutrition section of the book is one that I'm constantly reading to remind myself certain principles that I need to pay attention to. Now, if you're looking to get a set of six-pack abs and, just ripped muscles, that is going to be very difficult. Not impossible, but difficult. And the reason is this. What people underestimate about bodybuilding and getting abdominal muscles to show through is the kind of lifestyle change they have to make. And I struggle with it myself. I go back and forth, and right now I'm kind of in a cutting phase because I want to get into a bodybuilding competition. So I have to make some lifestyle changes. I have to eat differently. I have to drink differently. When I was in high school, I was ripped and jacked. And I didn't pay attention to it because I was just having fun doing karate and lifting. I didn't pay attention to the fact that my father fed me 3 square a day with good snacks in between, and all of the meals were home cooked. I didn't pay attention to the fact that I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't do drugs, no marijuana, no nothing. I didn't go out to parties. I didn't eat excessive McDonald's. I didn't do anything except I worked out and I ate really, really good food. And all of a sudden, I'm like this super athlete kid, and graduating from high school, I started working. I exercised less. I started going out more for food. When I became of drinking age, I swilled plenty of beer, and now I've gotten a taste for whiskey. So all of these things combined with a general lack of exercise kind of made me balloon up a little bit. Now I'm starting to get into control of that. I'm 26 years old, and I've got to reestablish good habits. But your greatest difficulty in creating the body that you're going to want to have, if you're looking to get, like I say, these six-pack abs, is in nutrition. 75% of your effort is going to be in what you eat and drink. Now, if you take my advice, do not worry about that yet. When you're first starting out, what you want to do is concern yourself with picking up one good habit to start. That's exercise. Don't worry about your nutrition. Don't worry about your drinking. Don't worry about any of that. Unless it's detrimental to your health, I would certainly put down the McDonald's. But don't concern yourself too much with it. Concern yourself with starting out on a good lifting regimen. Make that a habit first. And then, after you started a good lifting regimen on a regular basis, then what you're going to want to do is perhaps taper back some of the eating, taper back some of the drinking, and it all works itself out. The food consumption is exacerbated by drinking, so remember that. Drinking alcohol lowers your inhibitions, and then your inhibitions are lowered, and then where you might not have eaten half a cheese pizza, you will eat half a cheese pizza. So nutrition, 75% of six-pack abs, but don't worry about that first. First, get yourself lifting on a regular basis, and get yourself good material, good books. I suggest Arnold Schwarzenegger, Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding, and also some cross-pollination of other material. Alright, stay tuned for the next video.